back to our channel. I'm Katrina.
I'm Charles.
And this is KNC-TV. Alright you guys, so today's video was actually a request video, and so we're just gonna go ahead and do the request video. I had someone reach out to me. Her name is A Kendall, I believe, and she says, "Hi Katrina and Charles. I heard in one of your videos that your girls are 12 and 2. Can you please do a video about them and their relationship? I have 2 girls myself, 10 years old and 11 months. I'm hoping and praying they will be close. Please share your thoughts and tips on what works for you." All right, we do have, our daughters are 10 and a half years apart. So Zaria is now 13 and Zoe is 3. Zaria will be 14 in October and Zoe will be 4 in March. I particularly, and Charles does a great job with this too, we try to make sure that they are as close as possible.
Yes.
Because I know how it can be when there's a huge gap. And I have an older sister, she's 8 years older than me, but she's 10 years older than my brother. And now that they're getting older, their relationship is getting there, it's getting better, but it is not as close as maybe somebody who is 2 years apart or 4 years apart. Right. How old are you compared to Eric?
5 years.
So that's still a small little gap. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like that's the gap between me, the oldest, and my brother who's the youngest.
And there's
so
4 of them.
Yeah, there's 2 others in between. So I mean, we don't have a huge gap between us, but not like you know your sister and. Yeah,
but my sister and I are still, we're really close though. But as far as our girls are concerned, it was very important for me because I thought Zaria was gonna be an only child. And then my fear when I got pregnant with Zoe was that Zoe was gonna be raised as an only child too, because their age difference is just so vast. They're gonna be living 2 different lifestyles. So while I have one girl graduating, going to prom and going to college that same year, I'm gonna have one girl entering kindergarten and starting all over again. So I didn't want them to be, like, I want them to be close enough so that when Zaria leaves and goes off to college, when she comes back, she still has that relationship with her sister. So we naturally just make them do everything, not everything together, but we make them spend time together. We do make Zoe respect her older sister.
Right. But we also make sure that Zaria recognizes that that's your sister. So you're not her parent, but
yeah,
you know.
You're not her parent. I know there are sometimes I have to say, Zaria, you cannot do that. That is your sister. Right. You are not her mom. I have to check that sometimes. But the problem with that is that Zoe does not understand that Zaria is so much older than her, and so Zoe tends to treat Zaria as if she's like 4. Like they're the same age.
But sometimes they both act like they're the same age. Like sometimes I forget who's the older one out of the 2 because they both be acting like, you know what I'm saying, kids.
But I think that's good though. I think it's because they have
I don't think I have a problem with it. I was just mentioning.
I think it's because Zaria has tried hard to build a good relationship with her sister. One thing I did not want to do was make Zaria, like, people always joke like, oh, you got a live-in babysitter. No, I don't. No, Zaria ain't having it. She ain't having it, and just the way she interacts, when she get irritated and tired of her sister, she lets it be known. And I cannot imagine leaving Zoe here with Zaria for more than an hour. Because if so, Zaria will probably go crazy.
That's usually about as long as it is too, right?
If that, because when Charles was in Atlanta and I was in Kansas City, Zaria had to step up and help me out, you know, a little bit more. So that meant at 9 o'clock, they both had to go to bed. And so I would put Zoe in the bed with Zaria so I can go like take a bath and all that stuff. And Zaria would do a great job like putting her to sleep and everything, no problem. That don't work anymore. Now we all back together. Zaria cannot put Zoe to sleep. Zoe ain't having it. She just doesn't want to do it anymore. But I had to make sure that I did not make Zaria her babysitter or her mom. Like Zaria, that's not Zaria's kid. That's my baby. You know what I'm saying? So I had to make sure that I was not making Zaria be her second mom. I didn't want her to have any resentment when she got older, like, oh, I took care of you and I did this and I did that. No, but if I need you to sit down with her for a little bit so I can go take a shower or so I can go tend to myself, you will do that.
Or sometimes, like, you know, we'll tell them to go upstairs and play with each other so that we can have our time in the evenings to, you know, we want to have time together to wind down and talk to each other, you know, ask how each other's day was.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And it's hard to do that when you got 2 kids, you know.
Yeah.
So we tell them, hey, I go upstairs, I play with each other. And Zaria does a great job of playing with her sister. And I think Zoe likes playing with her sister. So
she does. And they love each other. They love each other so much, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm so happy that they just love on each other the way they do. My advice would be that if you have a huge gap between your children like that, make sure that that oldest child does not get stuck with being with that kid all the time. Like, I try to make it my mission to make sure that Zaria has her alone time. and Zoe has her alone time, and then we all get time together. That means that Zoe may have a birthday party to go to that Zaria don't want to go to anyway, and that's Zoe's time. Or Zaria may have something that she does, and we give her time too.
Right.
Because I don't want to clump them into one cluster because the age difference is so big. It is like huge. So I make sure that they do both get their equal time, but I also make sure that they do get time together. There are things that they will have to do together. One piece of advice I would give is just to make sure that you do give them separation. You've got to give them separation. They're living 2 different lives. They're coming from 2 generations at this point. It's 10.5 years between the 2 of them.
Right.
So that's super important.
Yeah, just making sure that, like, even though we want to treat them like siblings, each other the same, but like you said, with the vast difference in age, I mean, yeah, we do have to separate them and make sure they get their time. And especially for Zaria, because I mean, she was the only child for a long time, and then you know, she had a sister come along. And so I know that probably was a little difficult for her at first, but I think we've hopefully done a good
job. It was
job.
Difficult when Zoe was an infant because Zoe required so much time.
Attention,
And I felt bad. I was like, oh my God, like I don't feel like I'm giving Zaria enough of my time. And I felt so bad after I had Zoe because Zoe was an infant. So she was, and not only that, but Zoe was exclusively breastfed for 10 months.
So it was like
all the time. All the time. But now that Zoe is, you know, 3, you know, and a half, she's a little bit more independent. Like, I thought Zoe was gonna be like baby because Zaria was so independent, but Zoe is like so independent too. So she doesn't
do everything by herself.
She don't want her sister's help, my help, daddy's help, and we allow her to, like, you know, go for it, do what you do. Like, that's fine with me.
Sometimes I'm like, man, just let me do it for you, please. But I think we have to, like, let her do it.
You have to
let her try and then like, help her out if she needs help.
Yeah, you have to. Another thing that I would say is still make time for yourself without feeling bad. So what I mean by that is, once your oldest gets a certain age, it's okay to run to the store for 30 minutes, you know what I'm saying, by yourself, to go to the grocery or whatever, or an hour, if you trust that kid. I know Zaria's breaking point. I can be gone for 30 minutes and I'll come back and Zaria looks like she just like had the worst day of her life because Zoe has just like screamed and kicked and hollered and just beat her down. I know that much. So you just gotta make sure that they get their time in, but y'all have to get y'all's time in too. Don't feel bad if you gotta leave that kid with that's their sibling. Growing up, I had 3 siblings, and I don't know how many times I was at home with my siblings without my mom and them there by myself. But shoot, I also know what went on up in there. We talking about the olders was beating up on the littles, and we was just sitting there like, oh God. Yep. So I don't know. I don't really have much advice to give on that topic. I just know that it seems like it may be challenging, but it's not, as long as you make sure that you don't show any favoritism either way, and that you have that older sibling understand that this is a baby and they need a lot of our time and attention right now, but also allow that older sibling to assist you with things. If that means let's change her diaper together, or let's work on teaching her how to walk, or words, like help them feel included so that they don't feel as if like they're being separated or they don't feel apart. And that was another big thing for me too, because our daughters, like Zaria has a different dad than Zoe does, but they're raised as if they're one, you know? So I didn't want Zaria to not feel apart, or Zoe to not feel a part of me and Zaria. So you kind of gotta just mesh that and mend it, you know, and make sure that you just got a tight bond and a tight knit foundation for your family, and just keep it like that.
Yeah.
What's your advice?
My advice, I mean, just don't overburden your oldest with your youngest. Like, even when they become to the responsible age, I mean, yeah, you do want to, you know, have them be with their siblings, but at the same time, you don't want that person to become the mom to that other kid.
Because they will resent them, and they will resent you.
Yeah, but I mean, just, you know, make them close enough so that they have a good relationship, but at the same time, you need to make sure that they have an understanding, like, you know, we're the parent, you're the sibling. You know?
Okay, and the last thing I'm gonna say, it's very important to do check-ins with your kids. Like, I always ask Zaria, and I've always done this, am I doing a good job as your mom? Be honest and be open with me. Is there anything I can change? Is there anything I can do more of? And I allow her to have an open, safe environment to tell me those things, because sometimes I don't know if I'm spending too much time with Zoe or not giving Zaria enough of my time and attention. Zaria's at the age now where she just want to be on the phone with her friends anyway, but I still do check-ins. What can I do? And then I noticed it's time for us to have mommy-daughter time. Like, I just took her out last weekend, and I'm gonna take her out at least once a month, just her and I, because it's important. But I'm gonna do the same for Zoe. Daddy took Zoe to the movie. Like, they get their time in too. We do give individual time and we give time together, but do check-ins with your kids. When Zoe's old enough to understand what a check-in is, I'm gonna ask her, how am I doing as your mom? Like, what kind of mom do you need me to be? I don't have a problem asking that, because ain't no sense in me being one type of mama and love you this way if it don't work for you. If you need to be loved a certain way, you gotta let me know that. So I do those check-ins, and they help me be a better mom and a better woman.
No, I do. So I ask Zaria every once in a while, like, you know, not all the time, probably not as much as you do.
I mean, you're a man though, so you know, women, we more nurturing, and we like to get it right. I don't know, I like to get it right. Tell me what you need so I can give it to you. That's the type of person I am. In all my relationships, I be doing you the same way. Yeah. Tell me what you need. don't have me out here guessing. Shoot. But I guess that's all the advice, or you know, that I can give. Hopefully that was enough. It wasn't a lot. There's no magic answer or magic way to do it and to raise your kids. Just,
and then what works for us may not work for you, or you might have something that works better for you. So I mean, these are just what we do here. But I mean, do something that works for you. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer necessarily. It's all kind of trial and error. So I mean, if it doesn't work for you, try something else.
Try something else. Always keep adjusting. Like, never do the same thing. If something is not working, or if you're getting resistance, it's because there's a problem. So just address them head on, keep it moving. Okay, you guys, this is gonna wrap up this particular video that was requested by a supporter of ours. Hopefully this helped you or anyone else out there who has kids with a huge age gap. If you're not subscribed to our channel, do so now. If you are subscribed and you have not hit the notification bell, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time we upload a video. In the meantime, in between time, till the next time, bye!
Peace.